Randy Kovitz on the Fish Bowl. Welcome.
Hey, thanks. Nice to be here.
Absolutely. Thanks for swimming in the bowl with me.
Oh, it's the water's nice.
Now, I am a huge fan of your work, but also we have something in common because we are both Point Park.
Point Park people, yeah. I went to the grad school at Point Park for acting and got an MFA, and then I taught in the cinema department where you went to school.
Yes, and we both know Steve Cuden.
Steve Cuden, great guy. Hi, Steve.
Shout out to Steve Cuden. I had Steve on the show not too long ago.
And Steve has his own podcast now.
Yeah, now he has his own podcast, so he's, I think, following in the Fishbowl's example.
Oh, yeah. One. So everybody go listen to Steve as well.
Yes.
Spread the love.
Spread the love. Now, you know, I'm a huge fan of your work.
Thank you.
You know, Dawn of the Dead was amazing. It's probably my favorite entry into the Dead franchise, and I was wondering, what was some of your experiences working with George?
Well, I met George when I was, you know, like a kid, 22, or just 21 actually. I just gotten out of Carnegie Mellon drama department where I was an undergrad, and I went to an audition, and they were very nice, and they wound up offering me the role of the cop at the dock. And you know, I had a good time. It was intense. It was very professional. I'd never been on a film set before, so that was a great experience. Drank a little too much coffee, ate a few too many donuts, which is why I'm so hyper in that scene, but it kind of worked. Obviously people like it, so I'm happy about that. And then as the filming progressed, Tom Savini, who I was also in school with at Carnegie Mellon and knew him from there, hired me to be on the makeup crew. So I would come out to the Monroeville Mall at like midnight and work till 4 or 5 in the morning. And at the time I was doing a play, and I had grown a beard, so I knew that they were looking for bikers, so I just showed up one night dressed as a biker. George didn't recognize me, and I was walking behind him, and he turned around and finally recognized me. He said, "Hey Randy, you want to work tonight?" So I said, "Sure." So I wound up breaking some bottles over zombies' heads, getting shot at, and shot a crossbow into a zombie's face, which was cut, but it's in the behind-the-scenes footage, which is findable online. It's a Super 8 thing. So it was a great experience, you know, for a first movie. You couldn't ask for much more, and then 40 years later, here I am, which is kind of miraculous to me that people have responded like you do and like others do. So that's, you know, I went on to do Night Riders with George. I was actually offered a role in Day of the Dead, but I was doing a theater job at the Yale Repertory Theater, and Chris Romero at the time, when she called to offer me the job, I told her I was doing a play, and she said, "Oh, that's a much better credit. You should do that." And I sort of regret it, but I was doing a Shakespeare play, and I'm an actor, and you know that kind of stuff is very challenging. So I was glad I did it, but I'm a little sorry I didn't do Day of the Dead. But I love George. He's a wonderful, warm, and ultra talented human being, and I've always enjoyed working with him. I miss him.
That's awesome and very heartfelt. You know, George has a huge influence on me as well, as we talked about. I'm sure my listeners will hear over the course of the many interviews I'm doing with trying to make Creepshow into a TV series.
Oh, sure, yeah.
But you know, George is just an awesome guy, and everyone I talk to that's worked with him just says, or just has nothing but great things to say about him.
Well, you know, he's a true artist. He writes because he loves what he does, and his stuff, you know, it's not, he doesn't make splatter flicks. He doesn't necessarily make horror movies. He makes interesting stories that have a political slant to them, a moral center to them, and you know, they're about something that's bigger than just the genre that he's in, and that's what I think makes him special.
Now, the first Dead movie that I was old enough, or actually even alive, to go see was Land of the Dead.
Oh, yeah.
And I really like Land of the Dead a lot. But like I said, probably Dawn of the Dead is my favorite. I would put Land of the Dead second, and Night of the Living Dead third, and then Day of the Dead fourth. But they're all really, really unique films.
Yeah.
And they're all kind of like standalone films also. And I was wondering, not just because you worked on Dawn of the Dead, but out of all the Living Dead films as well as George's films in general, which one would be your favorite?
Well, you know, I really like Martin a lot because it's so dark and it's so interesting and so odd. But, you know, I'd have to say Dawn of the Dead because of its message. And its message is, you know, how consumerism consumes society and basically creates tribalism, which destroys society. You know, I think that in that way, thematically, that movie is the most interesting to me, and I'm in it too. So,
awesome. Well, Randy, it was a pleasure having you swim in the bowl with me.
Oh, thank you. Water's fine.
I'd love to have you come on the show again and do a more extensive interview.
Well, thank you very much, Sam. I appreciate you being interested in what I have to say, and hello to your audience, and let's do this again.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
All right.